Once there was a man, a seldom shooting man, who had a job to do and got it done. He never shot the first shot, but he always shot the last. The man with a gallant gun. A quiet kind of guy and just a little shy, but not the sort who'd ever turn and run. He finished lots of fighting that someone else began. The man with a gallant gun. The star upon his chest would never let him rest. He fought for law and order till he won. And he never shot the first shot, but he always shot the last. The man with a gallant gun, gallant gun, gallant gun, gallant gun.
Law and order. Some people never know when they're well off.
Yeah, it sure beats all how dirty things get around here. Man never knows what kind of trash he's gonna find on his doorstep next.
Watch out, old man. I don't need much of an excuse.
Let go of my broom or I'll ram it down your throat, you low-down, yellow-bellied, miserable excuse for a lawman.
What's the trouble, Marshal?
You better lock your friend in the store before somebody steps on his face.
Oh, I don't think anybody would want to do that to Mr. Rayburn. Come on now, Jake. Jake, why are you always picking fights with the law?
The law, huh? That overstuffed, worm-headed, mealy-mouthed, lousy, pot-bellied, no-good thieving, blubber-lipped toad has no more right to be wearing that badge than a rattlesnake has, and you know it.
I never heard anyone call so many names without repeating himself once. How did you learn that, Jake?
If you'd led a wild, evil life like he has, you'd have learned it too.
Well, I'll admit I've seen quite a few things and been in some rough places in my day, but never in my life did I ever see such a dirty, pig-faced...
Please, no more, Jake.
Every time I clap eyes on him, I just go to pieces. How's Steve's speech read to you?
It's good. A little long, Steve. Maybe a little pompous.
Pompous? Well, I just put down the things I believe in.
Yeah, I know that. And I think a lot of other people believe in them, too. But you must remember, Steve, nobody in Cascade went to college, except you and me. They could resent it if you try to cram your education down their throats. Some people are like that.
You gotta prove to them you're just as two-fisted and rough as Brant, but not crooked like he is. You gotta make him see what this town would be like once we got rid of Branton and that marshal of his, that two-timing jackass of a... Anyway, a lot of folks still remember your dad. And the more like him you are, the better chance we got.
I think that's right, Steve. Don't be afraid to stick your neck out. Name names. Come right out and tell them what they already know. That Branton runs this town to suit himself and his own interests. Here. Yeah, this part is fine right here. About how disgraceful it is that the citizens are afraid to let their children play in the streets for fear of injury at the hands of inebriated strangers of doubtful repute. Only call it by its right name, Steve. Tell them we have to keep our kids in off the street for fear some vicious, liquored-up gunman will shoot bullets into their little heads. Tell them you'll hire a real marshal, an honest lawman who'll clean these gunslingers out.
Yeah, and tell them why Branton won't have it done. He's making a fortune in his saloons because Cascade's as safe as a church for every tin horn and gun slick in the territory.
All right, tear it up. I'll write a new speech.
Don't write one, Steve. Make some notes if you want, but just use them as a guide. Then when you're ready, Jake and I'll spread the word and you can get up on a box and let them have it. And Steve, The decent folks won't get another chance for 2 years. That may be too late.
Steve? Steve? Come closer, please.
Hello, Emily?
I have to see you, Steve, tonight.
Don't be silly.
Please, it's terribly important. I'll make sure the back door is unlocked.
Sorry, Emily.
I'm begging you, Steve. I'm in terrible trouble. Please come.
He'll be here.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You were great, Emmy. If it was me, I'd be going crazy till it got dark.
Go crazy someplace else, Walt. My wife and I have things to talk over. You know, sometimes I get the idea my kid brother wishes he were me.
Now, what makes you say that?
The way he looks at you.
I never noticed. I only noticed the way you look at me. Yes?
It's me, Steve.
Oh, Steve. I'm so glad you came.
What's the trouble, Emily?
Let me have a good look at you. It's been, I don't know how many years since we've talked together.
7 years.
And you didn't even come to see me when you got home.
You were married to somebody else, remember? Now, look, Emily, what do you want to see me about?
I'll tell you in a moment. I'd like to talk over old times for a little while first. Please sit down.
Old times are finished when you married Bryton. Look, the only reason I'm here is because you said you were in trouble. Now, what is it?
All right, I'll tell you. It's not me that's in trouble. It's you.
What are you talking about?
It's this election, Steve. Vince and his brother are worried about you.
Good.
No, it's not good. I heard them talking last night. You know Vince. He won't let anybody stop him from getting what he wants. He and Walt were talking about having you shot.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, but it's just talk.
No, he meant it. I'm frightened for you, Steve. You've got to give up this election.
Well, it's a good try, Emily, but it won't work. Tell Vince that.
Don't you believe me?
No, I don't. But I'm encouraged, though. If your husband is worried enough to turn you loose on me, it's a good sign. Good night, Emily.
Steve, I'm telling you for your own good. You've got to withdraw from the election. I mean it.
I'm sure you do. Please let me go.
All right, Steve.
What's going on here? What are you doing in my wife's room? Emily. Emily. Are you all right?
He was trying to...
Why, you dirty...
Get one of the women to take care of Mrs. Bratton. Walt, take him to the stable and tie him up.
Bratton, don't be a fool. Nobody will believe a harebrained scheme like this. I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Take him away.
What's happening here?
They caught Brewster in Emily Branton's hotel room.
What?
Yeah, her clothes was all but ripped off her. She was screaming bloody murder. They got there just in time.
I don't believe it.
That's close enough.
Now, wait a minute. You can't do this to a man without...
We're doing it. Stay out of it.
Can you hear me, Brewster? Listen carefully. I've got every right